Welcome to this super quick tutorial because we have a new firmware update to the DJI Mic, and this new firmware update that ends with 7287, that one comes with some really good new features. One really good feature is that we have an auto shut off of the receiver if the transmitter has been turned off for 30 minutes or more. The next feature we have that is new, that is that we can turn off these LEDs, because those has annoyed me for a really long time. You can turn them down so they are like this, and then you can also turn them up so they are a lot brighter, but you have never been able to turn them completely off. And when you have it like this and it's a little bit dark, then it looks kind of like a boat that is coming and sailing towards you, and this is not a boat, this is a microphone. So I would like to turn it off, and that we can also do in the new firmware update. And to update the firmware, you can just Google on DJI Mic firmware update, and then you're gonna end up on this page where you have the DJI Mic and downloads. And then the first thing we're gonna do, we can update the receiver, so we just download that firmware, then we open up Finder, and we have to plug in the receiver, take it out from the case, plug it into the computer, and then it's going to show up here in Finder as an attached storage called no name. I take the firmware file from Finder, drag it into the DJI receiver, and then it's going to just upload itself into this one. And as soon as that file transfer is complete, we just unplug it, and then the firmware is going to be updated automatically. So now the transfer of the file is complete, and we're gonna see what this looks like. I'm just gonna unmount the device from the computer. I'm just gonna unplug it, and now it's gonna say updating here in the display, and it's still updating. And that took about 45 seconds. And now when it restarted itself, now the update is updated, or now the firmware is updated. So then we're gonna take the transmitter. I'm gonna download the transmitter firmware file. Then I'm gonna open up Finder again. Then we're gonna take the transmitter. We're gonna plug in the transmitter to the computer. Then we're gonna click the no name again. And here you probably have a folder, because that is where all your audio files are stored. Just ignore that. Take the firmware file, drag it into the root of the DJI transmitter. Wait until it's transmitted, and then we can just unmount it, and we just unplug it, and now that is gonna update itself as well. And while that one is updating, we're gonna take the next transmitter and do the same thing here. To see if the firmware update actually worked, we just swipe down, then we go to settings, then we swipe all the way to the side where it says version, we tap version, then we can see that the firmware version of the receiver is the one ending with 7287. And if we take a look at DJI's website, it's 7287. And then we can swipe to the side, and here we're going to see the firmware version of the transmitters. And here we can see that we are inconsistent in the firmware version. And that is what I expected, because one of the transmitters didn't flash the way they are supposed to do. Then we just have to take it out from the charging case again, plug it in, redo the procedure until the firmware update works, and we can double check in the DJI receiver that the firmware update is actually updated. So how do we adjust the light now so we can turn off the lights completely on the DJI transmitters? Well, we go into the receiver, we swipe down to settings, and we go to the transmitter settings. We tap that one, and then we go to the side where it says LED brightness. We go in there, and now we can select off. And now the LEDs are turned off. Isn't that awesome? And what about that auto turn off feature? Well, that is just there to be there. You can't do anything about that. It will automatically turn off the receiver whenever it has been disconnected from the transmitter for at least 30 minutes. So you can't turn that feature on or off. What you can do, however, that is to watch that video, because that is the video YouTube recommended to watch next. So see you in that one. Mats says bye.